Today, we're going to take a look at which Pokemon the Disney villains would use if they were going to take over the Disneylands with an army of 6 or maybe less. Which ones would they have? Well, according to Wicked Binge, Ursula would have...
2 Pokemon jump out right away as perfect.
I'm going to guess, okay? It's got to be Malamar, obviously. Like, it's a squid, it's a kraken. Thinking like Tentacruel, Malamar, but I'm also thinking like dark types. I'm thinking maybe Murkrow because she's kind of sly. She's kind of telling a little bit of lies. She's a fibber. She's in disguise. Zoroark. She does use disguises. Zoroark would be huge.
Tentacruel and Malamar. Not only do both of these Pokemon have multiple legs like she does, but they also match well with her personality. Funnily enough, Tentacruel is sometimes called the gangster of the sea, known for using its tentacles to capture and hold prey, much like Ursula does. As for
Can she do that to me too?
Malamar, this dark psychic type uses hypnosis to get people to do what it wants. Ursula may not have any hypnosis powers, but she's still plenty familiar with manipulating people. She's also extremely familiar with curses and magic, hence why we felt Mismagius would also be a good fit for her.
That's a good shout, actually.
Can't forget about her pets, Flotsam and Jetsam, knowing that Ursula would
Eel, so Electros, right?
Another electric eel around to replace them after they, exploded. We decided to give her one in the form of the powerful Electros. Finally, to represent
Actually, it's pronounced Electros, not Electros.
Ursula's ability to shapeshift herself and others with magic. We're rounding out her team with a Ditto, a Pokemon that's all about changing shape and making itself look different. With some of
Damn, I'm just saying that those couple frames where the chest kind of like, that was I'm not gonna.
Having the ability to make themselves look human. Next up is a Renaissance villain that's a bit more.
That's pretty good. I thought it would be Zoroark, to be honest.
McLeach from the Rescuers Down Under.
Okay, I know very little about this, but he's got a Linzer right there. So we got like what, Crocodile? He's got a shotgun. We need a shotgun Pokemon. Octillery's technically a tank Pokemon, which is modern weaponry.
He's a poacher interested in only profit, not caring at all about the rare or endangered critters that he has to catch in order to get all that cash. But like the Pokemon games have shown us, even people who don't actually care about Pokemon still use them, and we don't think McLeach would be an exception to this rule.
Dude, he's literally Team Rocket. He's a poacher.
He has a monitor lizard named Johanna. We figured that he'd enjoy having another sort of lizard on his team, Grovyle.
Oh, Grovyle.
For Grovyle
it is a green lizard.
Nature. This, alongside
I was thinking
its
Crook
blade ability, would make it a perfect hunting partner. Another Pokemon that fits.
Oh, there's Crook. I knew he'd slide in there somewhere. Leaf Blade's actually really good for like cutting down vines to get through the jungle, so that's a good shout.
Well, is Crocodile. In the film, we see McLeach use crocodiles to threaten Cody, but aside from that.
Oh my god! I've not seen this movie, but this is insane. Dangling a child in front of 3 hungry alligators?
Crocodile seems to share quite a few of McLeach's morals. Looking at its Pokédex entry, some have called it the bully of the sands. It's also an excellent hunter.
I love how they show a Pokemon Showdown team building screen for that.
In his cover, while it waits for prey to catch. And speaking of hunting, no hunter is complete without some weapons and traps. So we think a dangerously sharp Honedge would be welcome on his team.
Would Honedge be welcome on the team though? I mean, Honedge is like Excalibur. It's like an ancient sword. It's kind of like a Master Sword Link type of scenario. So
handsome, strong.
You go with something else, maybe like a Scizor. Use that as a weapon, or a Scyther. That's a bladed weapon kind of deal. That would work.
Gaston.
Gaston. I mean, I'm thinking Machoke, right? He's big, he's burly, he's strong, but he's also a manipulator. What's the manipulator Pokemon? He doesn't really use disguises, so I wouldn't say Zoroark. God of War to make up for Belle? Oh my god, that's deranged on another level from Gaston.
That are just as
if I can't get a human woman, I'll just enslave a Pokemon woman instead.
Muscular and powerful as
Chansey because she has an infinite supply of eggs. And you need that protein. Yes.
Knowing this, we felt that Machoke and the Ultra Beast Buzzwole
I knew it.
Perfect for him. Both of these Pokemon are known for being two
Say
of the
Chansey for
most
the
buff
eggs. Go on.
Pokemon in existence, easily overpowering and intimidating most opponents. Machoke especially has also gotten a bit of a reputation for being attractive to human women. And yes, the Japanese Pokemon site has a whole page dedicated to this. So this Pokemon and Gaston do have a lot in common.
I mean,
but beyond his
see where they're coming
desire to
from.
be seen as strong, Gaston also wants to be seen as the village hero. Knowing this and knowing that Gaston
Shadow
sees
Mia!
himself-
Wait, what was the ghost horse from Generation 8 that the Bobblehead rides on? That one, Shadow Mia.
As quote-unquote beautiful. We felt that it was only fitting to give him the beautiful night Pokemon
Spectria.
Gallade. Now, we all know he ate 4
Spectria would be
dozen
perfect
eggs
for this
every
guy.
day. Part of Gaston's song and how proud he is of this fact.
Chansey.
So, of course, we had to give him Execute
well.
to symbolize this.
Yeah, if you had a chance, you could just eat the eggs.
The
though, to be
last
fair.
Pokemon we're giving Gaston is meant to represent his sidekick, LeFou, a guy who acts as Gaston's hype man and always bounces back, no matter how often
Loudred.
Gaston smacks him around. As far as we're concerned, no
Wobbuffet,
other
okay.
Pokemon represents this better than
Loudred would make a
Wobbuffet.
really good hype man,
Moving
though.
on, we have the evil sorcerer, Jafar. Starting off with
Jafar. Okay, this is evil magic. I would have said Miss Magius. That's already been used, but like I guess you could throw Miss Magius into that. He's got a snake, so I'm thinking like the sand creature from Generation 8. God, these names escape me now. I'm losing it. Oh, an Arbok. Oh yeah, Arbok is definitely Arbok, 100%. Oh, the genies. Literally, yeah, of course he is a genie. He's got to have at least one of the genies. I'd say the ground type genie. He'd have Landorus because, you know, he's from a sandy place.
some easy
that
ones.
makes sense.
We, of course, have to give him a Chatot. After all, who is Jafar
duh.
without a parrot
Course.
to banter with and bounce ideas off? With how much Jafar seems to like snakes and cobras, especially, even turning into one during the film's climax.
Yeah,
it
give him an
seemed only
Arbok.
natural to give him an Arbok. But
Course.
Jafar has much more than a deadly venomous bite to worry about. Throughout the film, we see Jafar using his hypnotic abilities to try and control the Sultan. Because
Hypno.
he would likely want some hypnotic help in order to control as many people as possible. We think that he would love to have a Hypno and a Galarian
Of course,
Slowking
Jafar would want the pedo,
by
wouldn't he?
side. Hypno has the ability to put people to sleep in 3 seconds flat, which is about as fast as Jafar's staff works when it's hypnotizing someone. As for Slowking, the Galarian version of it specifically has some huge Jafar vibes, with even its much more villainous looking hat being similar to Jafar's. Finally, with
I
Jafar
guess?
being someone
Yeah,
who's
I
all but
suppose.
obsessed with the idea of having a genie and the almost unlimited
Landorus.
power that comes with it. It only makes sense that he would go to the end of the
Hoopa.
earth to catch himself a legendary Hoopa. With this
That-
team at his disposal,
I didn't even think about Hoopa. Is Hoopa really a genie? Does he come from
the
a lamp?
heroes of Agrabah better watch out. Otherwise, they may find themselves getting portaled away before they can even try.
I
to
get
stop
that.
it. Given
Sure.
that he's
I
one
still
of the
think
most
Landorus is a good
famous
idea.
Renaissance villains, we had to give a quick mention to Lion King's Scar.
Oh, I wonder if Scar will have a pyro. Oh, I have no idea. But he's also like conniving. So maybe he'd have some of the other cat Pokemon. Maybe like a Lipod, because Lipod's a little bit of a conniving trickster.
Admittedly, the
maybe.
idea of an animal using Pokemon
And some hyenas,
is just
Mighty Hyena.
a
Yeah,
little bit
hyenas,
weird.
of course, of
But
course.
We have seen Pokemon like Mewtwo use other Pokemon, and we're sure that Scar would be able to convince a few to stand by his side. Namely, the Dark-type canine Pokemon.
or the baby
Now,
one, sure,
Scar
okay.
already has experience working with canines, i.e. his former hyena army, so we think he would be able to train these pups pretty well. We could also see him gathering up a herd of
Tauros.
Tauros to have at his disposal, obviously paralleling how he used the wildebeests in the film. From the plains
Oh,
of Africa to
yeah. He didn't really control. I guess he kind of controlled the wildebeest a little
the
bit.
forests of Virginia. Next, we have Governor Ratcliffe.
Governor Ratcliffe. I wonder if he'll have Eradicate. Also, he came from the time where, like, what, there was a Black Plague running around, absolutely dumpstering Europe with the rats and the plague.
Interesting enough,
so maybe
one of the most notable
Eradicate.
things about Ratcliffe is the fact that he has a pet bulldog named Percy.
Oh, so he's gonna get a Gramble? I think you gotta give him a Snubble. I don't think you give him a Gramble for that.
Someone who likes dogs well enough, we think he'd enjoy having a Snubble, a Pokemon
He doesn't
that's
deserve a
known
Gramble for
being
that one.
devoted and loyal according to its Pokedex entry. We're also sure Ratcliffe would appreciate its talent for easily intimidating and scaring up.
I think you give him a Remoraid. And hear me out, this is why. Because he has access to soldiers that have firearms, right? Remoraid is a pistol Pokemon, so it tracks, right?
But beyond cute pets, Ratcliffe is a man interested in wealth, nobility, and power. The Pokemon
Poaching?
we feel represent these qualities best are Slowking, the normal version, not the Galarian version, Serperior, and Carbink. The first
what?
should be obvious. It literally has King in its name, and it's likely
Yeah, I mean,
that
so is a lot of Pokemon. So is Seaking, so is Nidoking.
would care more about its looks than its actual power. With Serperior, it's often referred to as the regal Pokemon, and is also a Pokemon with great intimidation skills.
I think you give him
Ratcliffe
Persian,
would
to be
likely
honest.
see as a huge advantage. Finally, with all the diamonds that adorn its body, Carbink
I get
would
Carbink,
simply
that makes
represent
sense.
Ratcliffe's desire for wealth and all things shiny.
I would probably give it Diancie because he's supposed to be the upper class, and Carbink is like the lower class of those types of Pokemon. So you probably give it a
What better
Diancie
way to
instead.
attract attention than with jewels. Now, admittedly, Frollo was sort of a tricky one. If anything,
Frollo is literally an evil demon sent from hell.
Frollo would be the type to claim that
Maybe give him an
Pokemon were
Incineroar.
satanic or demonic, like how some overzealous extreme people were doing back in the day. Still, if he had to use Pokemon, it's likely that he'd want Pokemon that
Houndoom. It's dark and fire, and he's literally very
represents how
evil.
he sees himself. Someone who is
Giratina is the Satan Pokemon.
noble,
That's true.
pure, and heavenly. Or
Oh, he wants to use Pokemon that represent himself, right? So
in
okay,
other
I get
words,
you on that.
the exact opposite of what he really is. So it only seems fitting that he'd want to catch himself a couple of quote-unquote angelic-looking Pokemon, like Togekiss and Gardevoir. Now, admittedly,
That
we're
tracks.
not quite sure how well these Pokemon would get along with a person like Frollo, but that's a whole
Isn't
other...
Gardevoir like the empathetic Pokemon that is supposed to understand the thoughts and feelings of their trainer? So if the thoughts and feelings of the trainer is like pure evil, Gardevoir will be like, nah, no shot, son. I'm just gonna dark hole you, bud. See you later.
Salazzle may also be a Pokemon that would fit well on his team. In a sense,
Ooh,
it
okay,
would
I get
sort of
that.
represent the quote-unquote love and attraction he has for Esmeralda. It being a fire
creepy.
type would also ironically represent the hellfire that Frollo is trying to avoid.
I like the Salazzle pick. I think that's a good
bit of a
pick.
hard one. So let's move on to a team that was really easy to put together. Hades.
Okay, all right. I mean, you got shiny Rapidash. It's literally the color of his hair. And also the underworld Pokemon. He is the god of the underworld. And I mean, he gets Giratina. He has to get Giratina.
Right off the bat, we just know that this guy would want to catch himself a shiny Rapidash. Not only is it a powerful horse Pokemon, but we just can't imagine him saying no to a Pokemon with bright blue flames. With how much Hades tends to rely on
Houndoom,
minions
Hellhound.
to help him with his plans.
Yes. Impotent. Impotent. He has to have Impotent.
We also feel
Oh, it was in the captions. Okay, just to be clear, I didn't read the captions before I said that. I came up that on my own, and then I saw the captions
that he'd catch
afterwards.
himself an Impidimp or two, both because of their devilish nature and because of how powerful they become when they evolve, making
What about Shedinja? Because it absorbs and eats souls.
them perfect for his long-term plans.
Of trainers, so he could like sign a contract giving a powerful Pokemon to a mere mortal, and then actually, you got fooled, you stupid moron. Why did you sign a contract with Hades, you the idiot? It's actually a Shedinja that eats your
He
soul.
also has plenty of monsters at his disposal, and with Hydreigon being so reminiscent of the Hydra that
Oh,
he used
yeah,
to try
Hydra
and
course,
kill
yeah,
Hercules,
that
it also
makes sense.
seems like it would fit him extremely well. Finally, given Hades' connection to the Titans, we think that if they weren't an option, he'd instead try to use one of the Titans from the Pokemon world,
Colossal?
namely Regigigas, which can be about as
Right,
destructive
Regigigas.
and devastating as any
course.
monster of legend.
Wow.
Next up, we have Shan Yu. As the leader of the
Ooh,
Huns,
I'm thinking armies, like Phalanx. He'd like army because he wants soldiers. He wants foot soldiers. He wants to do invasions. He wants a lot of horses to launch his invasions. He can maybe use Rapidash or like Mudspray because they're sturdy. He
It
wants.
should be pretty obvious what kind of
does he
Pokemon
want?
Shan Yu would prefer. Namely, any Pokemon that would be extremely useful in an army. Going back to ancient times, we think that the
Well, he wants artillery. He wants to like launch artillery. What's an artillery? Like auxiliary? Auxiliary is literally some artillery. Oh, give him artillery, please.
Samurott fits these qualities to a T. Admittedly, Samurott is based more off of Japanese
Kangaskhan,
warriors.
maybe because it's a Khan, but
However,
Kangaskhan's
its
more of a mother,
Hisuian form
which isn't
not
very good
only
at
has
invading.
slightly different aesthetics, but according to its Pokedex, it will do anything to win a battle, preferring to use tricks such as surprise attacks and cheap shots, which pretty much screams perfect for Shan Yu. We also have a
'Cause
pretty
he's
good feeling
smart?
that he'd
Oh,
enjoy
Murkrow.
having a Falcon that can not only attack with its claws, but also burn anyone anyone in its way.
Talonflame?
So Talonflame is also a must for this team.
Okay,
And
sure,
rounding out
I get
his
that.
Pokemon army, we're gonna give him Decidueye, since every
What?
army needs a good
Archers?
archer, and Decidueye
Yeah, okay.
certainly meets those standards.
I still think it needs artillery. I still think it needs octillery.
With Clayton's team. Although there is no
This is
gun
literally like
Pokemon
the same as the last time. I think you should give him Scyther because it clears out jungles.
There is one Pokemon
He also wants
that
to
we
capture
feel would
monkeys?
represent Clayton fairly
So
well.
maybe Rillaboom?
The mythical bug slash steel type, Genesect. Not only does it have
What?
a blaster that can blow enemies and any other obstacles it comes across out of its way,
Okay.
but the blaster part of its body is technically man-made. It may not be a shotgun.
You just showed
but
a
we're
Blastoise.
sure that Clayton won't mind. We're also giving Clayton a Lightbird. Not
Okay.
necessarily because it relates to him, but to instead sort of represent the film's other villain, Saber. With how much
That doesn't make
Clayton
any
wanted
sense.
to use
Give him
and profit
Scyther.
off of the gorillas from
Scyther would be so good for him.
Tarzan's
He's
home,
surrounded by
we're sure that
bamboos.
he'd enjoy having a gorilla of his own, one who would obey every command and use its power to win battles and bring in the Pokebucks.
Wait,
so
Rillaboom-
we're gonna give him a Rillaboom. For
Yes,
the
that's-
last
okay, that's what I
Pokemon
said. I
on his
agree with
team,
that.
We feel that it's only fitting to give him a Tangrowth, as we're sure he could have used a creature like this in the film's climax.
No, he
Someone
could have
who
used the
given-
Scyther because it flies and can cut the freaking thing that is choking him and ends up killing him. He needs a
and
Scyther.
plenty
Come on,
of
give him a
extra
Scyther.
vines to grab onto and save himself. But let us
No, he
know
cut
in
the
the comment
vines.
section what you think the ideal Pokemon teams are for
I think you give him a Scyther, but I also think you should subscribe to more patterrz and my main channel right now.